Hey everybody, welcome to the fourth in a series of Q&A events with Lynen Lab executives as part of our SL22B celebrations. Earlier this week, we held events with our product and engineering teams, as well as product operations, customer support, and the trust and safety teams. And yesterday, we had a great town hall with Second Life founder Philip Rosedell. That's pretty hard to top. So today, we are humbly here to discuss a bit about marketing and community with myself. I'm Brett Linden, the VP of Marketing, and our wonderful Senior Community Manager, Strawberry Linden. Hi, Strawberry.
Hi, Brett. Happy SL22B.
Happy SL22B to you and the community as well. Okay, so Strawberry, we had a lot of pre-submitted questions from the community, and that I'd like the two of us just to chat about and respond to. Why don't we just jump on in?
Yes, let's get into it. So, the first question we have is Lynen Lab planning on any new marketing and promotion to rebuild the resident population that has dropped and has been stagnant for some time? And if so, what and how are efforts being made?
Okay, so our CEO Brad Oberwager or Oberwolf, as we all know him,
Mhm.
has been open and pretty transparent in sharing his ambitions and even his concerns about growing Second Life. So I hope that we can continue in that spirit and being transparent when we say that there is a lot of work to be done to grow the user population of Second Life. And as evidence of that, he's greenlit a budget for paid marketing campaigns at a level we've not seen in several years. He's also hired new full-time employees with digital marketing expertise to help launch these new paid campaigns. For example, we have a headcount right now for a senior growth marketing manager that we're looking for. So that gives you an example of the types of talent that we're bringing in-house. So there's a direct connection between paid campaigns and growth. So as we start to ramp these up, we hope to see more visibility for Second Life and fingers crossed some growth. However, I want to qualify this by saying it's not just a marketing thing. Although you and I represent the marketing area within
Mhm.
Second Life, there's more to the story than just what we do. It's obviously Second Life as a whole, the platform growth that for us at Second Life is also dependent on Second Life getting better and more friendly, specifically to newcomers. We have things like mobile, and I think many people are familiar with, as Philip has addressed, the Project Zero initiatives. Those are obviously also part of that effort. So we have to work really hand in hand with the product and the operations teams just to have Second Life as a whole get better. There's dedicated teams that are working to improve things like the new user avatars and the new user experience. We saw, for example, and we actually helped with this, the Avatar Welcome Pack that came out already, which of course makes it easier than ever to have a beautiful avatar built with elements from leading creators. And we expect that there's going to be a lot more collaborations that will help us grow together Second Life and improve the experience by partnering with our community over the coming months.
Yeah, I love the Avatar Welcome Pack. It was amazing. So, the next question we have is you recently announced the Creator Partnership Program. Can you please elaborate a bit about that and share how people can participate?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked about that. And that's exactly what I was just referring to. The idea that partnering with the community is really important for us.
Mhm.
There's so much skill and talent in the community. So we're really thrilled since we announced that creator partnership program just a few weeks ago. I think it was in late April. We've actually
Yeah.
received almost 500 submissions from the community of creators and so forth. And these involve, all sorts of ideas about and or proposals about how they can work with us. It just to me shows that there's a really strong desire to collaborate with us and help be part of shaping the future of Second Life together. What I will say is, in terms of sort of analyzing or thinking through what we've seen so far, we're getting a pretty diverse range of project proposals from the community. So, for example, things that, I'm trying to think of how to best capture it, but let me maybe call out three or four areas that I think
Mhm.
I'm seeing thematically again and again, and also, frankly, things that align with our roadmap and things that we're actively looking to try to do. So when those things come together, that's the perfect fit. So one of them are mobile first experiences, and that might surprise some people, but obviously we have our mobile app. And as we expand our mobile access, we're really interested specifically in what that user experience is like. So we've had some proposals speaking to maybe they're an experienced creator, and they're a great builder, and they have an idea of a mobile optimized, an environment that a user would come into that's really perfect for, I don't want to say limitations, but it's different. There's different screen size. There's different, hardware specifications. I mean, it's just different on mobile. So that's an area that we're really looking to do better at and do so in coordination and partnership with the community. We mentioned earlier the welcome avatar pack. Well, we want to do more welcome packs. So there's room for more niche and non-human avatar content, theme packs. I've seen a lot of pitches for that. And so that's some things that we're looking into. Other things include community perks. We have our daily rewards program for mobile. A lot of community members might be, offering up things that might be part of future perks that are not Linden dollar based. So that's some areas that are really of interest to us right now. But we welcome all proposals. People just need to go to that link. I guess the last thing I would say about this is that I often get the question on follow-up is like, well, what can we do if we're a creator or community member that wants to propose something? Is there any tips or guidelines that you can give us? And so maybe I would just offer two or three things there. One is be specific and solution oriented. So if you can clearly articulate when you fill out the form what it is you're proposing, how it would work, just anything that gives us more granular specifics on it, that would be great, rather than just a vague comment or statement. The second would just things that would show strategic alignment with things that we have stated publicly as our current goals. I just stated a few of them a moment ago, for example. So things like improving onboarding, or obviously as a business, we're looking to increase growth and user retention. Those kinds of things are more likely to resonate with the exec teams that look at those proposals. Also, this is not a one-way street, it's two-way. So it should benefit us and the creator partner as well. So don't be shy about putting in your pitches something that your ask as well. So how can it benefit you and us so that we're true partners when we work together? I'll leave it at that, but those are just some ideas for people to think about. We're just really grateful for the outpouring of creativity and the ideas, and can't wait to see where we go with it. We do ask that people be a little bit patient, because there's with so many proposals coming in, we can't act on them all, and we can't act on them all immediately. That's not a reflection on the quality of the submission per se. It's just a matter of time and management of what we have to prioritize. But
Right.
please keep those proposals coming in.
Great. So, are there any plans for Lynen Lab to build regions with activities and not just temporary shopping events, or partnering with creators? With a significant drop in population over recent years, relying only on residents to continue creating the world around them to entertain each other is no longer enough to attract and retain residents.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is just sort of an extension of what I just said. So yes, this is one of the areas of collaboration that we're seeing emerging as part of the Creator Partnership Program, is working together. And there's different types of proposals. Some are for virtual goods and items and clothing and avatar accessories, and others are for experiences. That might be something where people build, and then maybe it's a new user experience, for example. So you're going to see those types of things as part of our partnerships. Stay tuned.
Right. So, what's up with the destination guide? Will there be any more changes or updates to it? Do you just pick your favorite spots to showcase, and or how can people submit to it?
That's for you. You're the one. What do you think, Strawberry?
Okay. Well, I guess I can take that one. So, yes, we do update the destination guide on a daily basis, with probably around 20 to 30 new regions added weekly. And we don't, it's not like picking our favorites, but we have something called the editor's picks, where we showcase some of the best regions that we've, seen, or, they have interesting activities or something. And we showcase them in editor's picks for a couple of weeks. And then we keep switching them out because we want to give everybody a chance to be featured. And it's very easy to submit. You can use our submission form. You can find find a link to that at the bottom of the destination guide, or you can email us directly at editor@lynenlab.com, and we'll take it from there. You want to add anything to that about destination guide?
No, but I just know it's something that people pay a lot of attention to, and we see,
Yeah.
obviously we get data and stats, and seeing that there's a lot of click-throughs, and it's fascinating to see what people click on. For example, like what are the popular categories and so forth. But yeah, people should not be shy about submitting their regions.
Okay, great. So I'm going to move on to the next resident submitted question. Adult content has gone so out of control that it has earned SL a reputation amongst many platforms as nothing but a porn game, and is even banned from being mentioned, streamed, or discussed. Will Lynen Lab ever do anything about curbing it and repair its reputation as a learning and community platform?
I'm glad that question was asked. The short answer is yes, we are trying. Obviously, it's frustrating, I think, for many members in the community, and certainly for us, as an example, that we're not able to be on Twitch. This has come up in previous, Q&A
Yeah.
sessions we have, and it continues to be a thorn in my side that we are not on Twitch. I have a lot of feelings about that. I'll be diplomatic when I say. In particular, what I will say is seeing Second Life listed on Twitch's publicly published restricted games list next to games that I won't even say the titles are not safe for work. It just perpetuates the disconnect and misunderstanding of what Second Life is about. So, of course, I'm obviously, yes, there is adult activity in Second Life because Second Life is a user created platform and community populated by adults, but calling it a porn game is not only inaccurate, it's dismissive of the larger community and its diversity of experiences and creativity, which does include for people that choose to engage in that activity, fine, fair enough. But it
Yeah.
is not the only, we certainly don't market it that way. Many of our new campaigns do aim to emphasize bigger picture, right? Which I think was the heart of the question, as far as getting the word out about SL and all of its forms. So, uh, things like how Second Life serves as a fun social space to hang out and its role as a substantial hub for creativity. People often talk about the fact that, they make money in Second Life and that you can monetize your creations. That's another area of focus that, we want to see more of out there in terms of the messaging. So as somebody who has a personal experience and history being in, for example, the education space, for those that don't know, I have a background in education, higher ed. Prior to my time here, I've always wanted to make sure that we don't overlook positioning a Second Life as something that educates, but not necessarily only in an academic sense, I think, but in a sense of personal growth and empowerment, which so many of us know that are in Second Life. We know that power of Second Life that just extends in so many different ways unique to us as individuals. And getting that message out is really important, and it's just such an oversimplification and distortion of Second Life to just glibly refer to it, as an adult product. That's not a
Yeah.
fair assessment with respect to those that engage in that.
For sure. Yes, I agree. Um, so the next question we have is Second Life receives so much negative feedback overall. I am scared to even advertise it on YouTube. Would you ever think of rebranding Second Life to make it look more appealing for a new crowd and attract new members?
Anything's possible, so I've learned never to say never. But let's acknowledge that there are both pros and cons to the existing reputation and notoriety of the Second Life brand, quote unquote, and of course, platform and the community that we know and love. Let's be honest here, right? So, being a punchline on The Office, for example, so many years ago,
Yes.
I mean, on the positive side, that exposed Second Life to millions of new people, but it also did put a little bit of taint or suspicion on the platform. We were a punchline to some degree in that particular, storyline. So, like people might look at that and say, "What is this thing? Who's it for? And who are the people that inhabit Second Life?" And I think some people watching The Office may not have realized that Second Life was not a fictional product, or platform. It was actually a real platform. So there's both good and bad and things like that. To answer the question more directly, there are no immediate plans to rebrand. Second Life is Second Life. On the positive side, many companies would die for that type of brand awareness that we already have established. I think we have our place in history, certainly in sort of the virtual world space. And so, right now, starting from scratch, breaking out of the pack with all of the noise of social gaming and virtual worlds and metaverse products, et cetera, that's not easy to do from scratch. And despite, let's just be honest about that, and also, and trying to be very fair and even tempered about this, there are examples of platforms that were very well resourced, millions, and we could make the argument. I don't know the real number, so I don't want to mischaracterize it, but what is it, millions, $1 billion, whatever it is that Meta put into its Horizon virtual world platform. That's, I think it can speak for itself in terms of its success or, how it's, I would argue, floundered a little bit. And I don't say that with glee, it just is what it is. But also, looking back a little bit further, for those that know their history, we know that we've seen other quote unquote Second Life killers come and go. Google's Lively, I think there was Cloud Party at one point. With that said, there's some really great virtual worlds and metaverses that are out there right now. And so, we always have to stay on our toes. But these footnotes in history of virtual platforms, they really had ambitious and well-intended, well-funded origins. And we are still here. Second Life is a brand, pros and cons. It has some cachet, it has some historical significance, and it does, I would argue, have some value. I understand that there's baggage with it as well. So with that said, there are still a lot of people, particularly younger people, who do not know, despite all of that, what Second Life is. And so we absolutely have work to do, and real work to do, to tell them the story of our communities and cultures.
For sure. For sure. So, what is the plan for advertising Second Life properly without the use of AI video? Will you hire machinima makers from within SL itself?
Well, you know this, Strawberry, because you and I have worked together
Yeah,
on this. And so just to share with the community, yes, we have in the past and absolutely will in the future work directly with the community to not only amplify the work that they may be doing already if they're machinima artists, but also commissioning original content that we can use in, as I mentioned earlier, our paid ad campaigns. So exciting that I'm able to say that we're actually doing more of that than ever. So for many years, and people may know who followed us closely, that we had a great production relationship with, as one example, Draxler Dupre, who
hmm
did a lot of really very specific style of videos. They were very like ethnographic videos, or storytelling
amazing.
videos.
Yeah,
Yeah, and think about all the human stories that
yeah,
came out and sort of, broke through the stereotypes, I guess, that people might have of Second Life and introduced it to it. So that's a great example. And those are still referenced to this day by the media. So,
yeah.
we have great love for him and what he's done for with us in the past. We have these new paid campaigns that we're sourcing content with for now. With external community resources. I'm prematurely hinting here at something, but we will in the very near future be talking with more detail about our collaboration with what's known as the Second Life Video Creators Group. Some people may know that. If not, you'll learn about them soon. But this is an independent entity of machinima artists and a collective, if you will, inside Second Life. And, we're working with them too to help showcase the machinima community. And there'll be a series of screening events in our Second Life Cinema, and that we'll be talking more about very soon.
Definitely looking forward to that. So the next resident question is a bit of a long one. I've heard a little bit about Second Life Blogger Network, but I'm confused on what it is and how to participate. And another related question that was submitted was, well, it was more of a comment complaining about it. To summarize, the comment expresses concerns about hearing official Second Life information from secondhand sources like bloggers versus Lynen Lab directly. They then cite examples of tabloid-esque and/or drama-prone bloggers who have taken a conspiratorial approach to their reporting.
Conspiracies in Second Life? What?
You
You've got
don't
to be
say.
kidding me. Well, okay, let me just start this. This is going to be a longer response, and I know you'll want
Yeah.
to weigh into you're close to this. Let me
Yes.
start by saying I'm really glad that this question was asked for two reasons, really. First off, yes, of course, there is a blogger network that we invite the community to join if they're regularly writing about Second Life and or have a large following. The idea is that we will make our SL or Lynen Lab executives available in large town hall-like events for those that are actively reporting about Second Life so that they can just help us spread the word. Strawberry, I'm going to let you explain a little bit more about what the Blogger Network is and how people can join, and then I'll answer the last part of the question.
Okay, yes, the Blogger Network is still going strong. Any active bloggers can sign up, any active Second Life bloggers, or they're actively blogging about the platform. Even if you're just blogging on Flickr, no problem, you can still sign up. And of course, we have our public RSS feeds that promote these bloggers. So everyone can see all of the posts from our blogger community coming in, and you can access those RSS feeds at second.life/blogger network. There is always something to read coming in from our bloggers. Every few minutes, you'll see a new post. So, and beautiful destination blogs and fashion blogs, and just basically covering any topic that you can think of about Second Life. And yes, absolutely, one of the other perks of participating in the Blogger Network is the occasional opportunity to interact directly with Lynden Lab executives via Zoom and or in world maybe in the future.
Okay, Strawberry, and I want to address the second part of the question. And honestly, I think it's a little more complicated, and I'm going to be a little
Yeah,
more careful in how I respond because there's a lot loaded in that question or comment, I
for
guess.
sure.
I want to first off just say straight up, I totally agree wholeheartedly that Lynen Lab should and will maintain a direct line of communication with our community. And we do that. We do it with the blogs, with forums where Lindens participate. We have the weekly in-world user groups, which, by the way, if people don't know about that, we'll make sure to share it, I would assume, in our description or what have you. But
Mhm.
people should know that there's an opportunity to jump in world, and they're weekly or bi-weekly. They're quite regularly there with, and you can meet directly with those teams, right? So you don't have to be a blogger. You can be, any, just a typical user or resident inside Second Life. So we welcome people to attend those user groups in world. There's also town hall events, email socials. I mean, the list goes on and on with ways that we directly and will continue to directly communicate. So just going to take a pause here and say we do and will directly continue to communicate with them. The Blogger Network is just another channel of communication. It's
Right.
not meant in any way to be a substitute for, anything that we just mentioned. Now, that person who submitted the question, when I'm just going to be really honest here, we're kind of sanitizing the question a little bit.
Mhm.
They went into more detail about what they viewed to be misuse, and I would say it's fair to characterize as problematic bloggers. And I'm not going to embarrass or out anyone specifically. They gave us examples and that kind of thing of, and we've all seen, let's be honest, we've all, if you follow Second Life and you look at the social channels and our blogs, you've got people that are sort of wonderful supporters. You've got people that are neutral, that just kind of report the facts, and you've got those that love to sort of stir the pot a bit, right?
Mhm.
So this person kind of called out some of the drama stirring incidents that see, and including people that frankly are have been in the Blogger network. So yes, they make a good point about some of the downsides of over reliance on third parties who might have, different motives or maybe even just a misunderstanding that's honest about what's going on at Lynen Lab and Second Life. I started my career as a traditional journalist back old school. And so I tend to still have a bias. I'm ever the optimist about believing that an independent media will uphold strong and ethical standards in its
Sure.
reporting. And I also distinguish, bloggers from that, but still they're an independent form of media. I get that they're different than what we think of as traditional journalists. Fair enough.
Mhm.
And I know that many people want to get the official scoop from the source. Let's be honest, it is also nice to get independent and non-biased analysis and perspectives that are not just the corporate speak. You and I
Right.
are here. We
Mhm.
work for Lynen Lab. We're thoughtful about what we say because we have to wave that flag, but we both do care about Second Life. I hope that comes through, if nothing else. But yes, we could be accused of corporate speak, and I will acknowledge that because we are coming from Lynen Lab. Fair enough. So that's where the Blogger Network plays a role in the piece of communication. It's that how can we help facilitate getting information to those bloggers, and then they can write whatever they will, right?
Right.
There are amazing bloggers that are doing amazing work with a neutral, fair, and balanced tone that the old school journalist in me loves. And they're not tabloid-esque. Inarpe, who I would just assume everybody knows,
Yes.
comes to mind. I'm not. I shouldn't single anybody out, but I will. But they do an amazing job with the Modem World blog, and I just love how they take the information, they present it with kind of an independent perspective. And yes, sometimes they're constructively critical, but they're reasonable and they're clear in their tone and style. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
But reality check, we know that that's not the way that all blogs are. That's fair enough. With that said, I will say it's been maybe a little naive of us to think that everybody's going to be to that standard. There are some mean-spirited bloggers out there, but you know what? They have a right to say their piece, and we do screw up sometimes, and maybe even quite a bit. So,
Mhm.
on a personal note, yes, it is disheartening when you see personal attacks or ugly comments that just assume the worst of us that are, based in reality, I guess. That's frustrating. There are toxic elements out there, as there are with any community, unfortunately. But I think it's really important, and I definitely center myself in thinking about this if I'm having a bad day and I read something. It's like, I'm not looking for the violins here. I get it. We are accountable for what we do and don't do.
Yeah.
But I think it's important for all of us internally as Linens to remember that really what's happening there, if somebody is blogging, even if it's, in a spirit that we may not enjoy, that they're passionate and they do care about Second Life at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So that might cloud their communications a little bit, that extreme passion that people might have. Maybe that's something for both them and us to collectively reflect on, I suppose. But in the end, I would just say we are grateful for the bloggers. We are grateful that the community cares enough to share their
100%.
opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I got a little bit long-winded there, but that
No,
is a
it's
loaded
great.
question. And of course we're humans, right? So we see those things. But listen, we can take it. We're strong. Moving on.
Yeah,
Next
it's
topic.
all good. It's all good. Okay, so believe this is the last question we got from the residents. What incentives are being offered to retain or recover long-term residents? Why are there not additional benefits offered to residents who have been here for over a decade, loyally remaining with Second Life and keeping the platform going? Something as simple as additional group benefits, considering how many friend groups someone may be in after 10 years of membership, would be a way to recognize and offer appreciation to residents who have helped make the platform what it is by being here with us.
I think there's a great idea in that question. I mean, I will say that loyalty rewards and incentive programs are really intriguing. We've had some
Yeah.
internal conversations and are having them right now about that exact thing. So obviously, I will say just for what I can say right now, which is yes, we'll look into it. I don't have anything specific that's new to announce right now. It's not exactly the same thing, but I want to acknowledge something that is relatively new that kind of is in that direction, which is that, many of you may have noticed that we've been experimenting with rewards programs such as the streak rewards that are on our mobile. If you don't know that, it's basically when you log into our Second Life mobile app, you can, if you log in every day, there's actually like a sequential streaks that you can get to win, not win, but to get Linden dollars if you're a paid member. And so that basically means you can get Linden dollars, and the Linden dollar amount can change and grow every day. So it's an incentive to reward people for loyalty to, in this case, the mobile app for those sequential logins. And by the way, I don't know if we've talked about this publicly or not, but that has and continues to have a very positive impact on the daily active users for the mobile app. So in other words, our numbers are up directly because of that. And so there's a lot of analysis. I don't want to over sugarcoat it or whatever, but it is speaks to the power of loyalty and incentive programs when thoughtfully applied. And there's probably more to do there. And I mentioned earlier, even the creator partnership program and non-Linden dollar rewards as incentives. That might be something we look at too. So you will see us look at that program and iterating it, maybe expanding it a bit in the future as well. And Strawberry, I think you said that's the last community question that we
Yeah,
got.
we're good.
So there's a lot of content there, a lot of stuff we covered. Thank you for being here with me. And of course, thank you to the community for all of the really amazing, insightful, and direct questions. I want to remind everybody that tomorrow you have a chance to meet the moles, and that will be the last of our various Meet the Lindens and or Moles sessions we have for the week. I hope everybody has a wonderful SL22B. If you haven't already, go out and explore the exhibits and the events, the Shop and Hop event. It's all going strong and we hope to see you there. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Enjoy SL22B.